Hello and welcome back to the Technology of Beauty, where I have the opportunity to interview the movers and shakers of the beauty business. And I assure you, today is no exception. It's going to be a lot of fun and a little titillating. But before I interview our guest, I'd like to share with you that I'm in Austin, Texas right now. We all are at the Aesthetic Innovation Summit for 2025. That's why I've got my hat on and my cowboy boots. So welcome to the Aesthetic Innovation Summit and our first interview today with Cindy Eckert. Welcome, Cindy.
Thanks for having me. I'm missing my boots, but they're coming on tonight.
You look smoking
hot. You know
hot.
They'll be pink.
Yeah, I know they will be pink because her business is called
The Little Pink Pill. It's Addie from Sprout Pharmaceuticals.
So Addie from Sprout Pharmaceuticals. And Cindy was just on stage at AIS, and she crushed it. And you're going to hear in a moment why I had a little pushback for putting her on. I'm the co-chair of AIS, and I put her on the schedule. And there was a few fuddy-duddies that pushed back and said it's not aesthetic, and I can assure you it is aesthetic.
Absolutely.
So here we go.
I love it.
Cindy, well, first of all, before we get into the meat of the matters, where are you from?
I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, but by way of Rochester, New York as a little girl, the Fiji Islands, Italy, DC, San Diego. I'm totally nomadic. So I moved my whole life until I chose the Research Triangle to start to build companies.
Fantastic. Were you a military brat?
State Department.
State Department.
State Department brat, yeah.
Yeah, well, what
unusual
an interesting
childhood.
background.
It totally flexed my muscle to become an entrepreneur. I was like the constant person at the side of the room having to figure out the dynamics. I got really comfortable being uncomfortable and naturally started building. Absolutely, and taking in all of these different perspectives.
That's fantastic. And when I have you on the show in Manhattan Beach in the studio, we can develop all your past.
Let's do it.
I want to go right to the heart of the matter right now. What you just presented. So what's the pink pill and why?
What did I say to your audience? I basically said I like to imagine that I sat in the boardroom of global aesthetic companies over the last decade going, okay, what's the next Botox, right? And you'd have to be paying close attention to say, oh my God, it was a weight loss product. And I'm telling you, the next weight loss or GLP-1 is a libido pill for women called Addie. And that's the product that I shared with the audience today, because this intersection of, make me look sexy, which your audience is so good at, but make me feel sexy, it's incomplete unless you're treating the patient holistically around wellness. So I think it's in a massive category, and the data don't lie in terms of numbers there.
So your product, in a nutshell, it increases a woman's libido.
It does.
Her desire for sex.
Yes, it's the first FDA-approved product for that indication. So to increase a woman who's struggling with her libido, the switch went out. She's not thinking about it. She's not having spontaneous fantasy or thought. And we show in clinical trials that we not only improve her interest in having sex, but when she has sex, it's more satisfying, and we decrease that stress she's experiencing because she's lost that desire.
Tell us what the mechanism of action is. Where does it work? Does it work in her brain?
This is our largest sex organ for women. Women are brain flow, not blood flow. And I knew that male space very well. I built one of the male sexual health companies. And so it was spectacular science that balance of dopamine and serotonin. Most commonly, the products we know that work in that space were SSRIs, and what's their number one side effect? They decrease your libido. So the scientific thesis was, well, why couldn't we work there and increase it? And that's Addie. Addie is a mood drug that has a positive effect for sex. It also causes sleepiness as our number one side effect. Sometimes, benefit is in the eye of the beholder. Our side effect sometimes is great in this perimenopausal patient, and we see a little bit of weight loss as well on the drug.
So first of all, is it a prescription drug?
It is. So it's a prescription drug, and what's fascinating of, why am I here in this space, exactly why you championed this, is we were watching our data and we saw the patients were walking into plastic surgeons. They're in that environment where they're already vulnerable. They're talking about, help me with looks, help me with weight, even hormones. And so this is just natural. So I thought, oh my gosh, we've got plastics writing prescriptions, which I think most of y'all are allergic to insurance, which fair play. And so last year we started doing some research in the space and said, well, what if we gave you a Latisse-like model? What if you could direct dispense this? I'd much rather share economics with you than with insurers that typically gatekeep this from women. So it's been a real match made in heaven.
So you partner with the practice?
Yes.
So you sell it to the physician resells it.
Precisely. So they buy this. It's a 90-day starter pack for patients. They buy it from us. They get to mark it up and sell it directly out of their practice.
And what's the dose? Is it a daily dose?
Daily dose, so once daily, 100 milligrams at bedtime.
So besides being sleepy, what other side effects or adverse effects have you seen?
Very classical CNS drug. So our 3 most common side effects are dizziness, sleepiness, nausea.
Okay.
Less than 2% of patients discontinue due to any of those effects in clinical trials, but it's a CNS drug. You think about combining it with other things that are sedating. It's metabolized through P450, so if there's a strong CYP3A4 inhibitor, but it's really a pretty straightforward CNS product.
Okay.
With a really important benefit.
Can you share with us the cost, either to the consumer or to the physician?
Yes.
Or can you share any of the economics with us?
Patients pay $4.99 a month for $49, for this 3-month pack. So for 90 days, we're about a third of the cost of the GLP-1s in terms of national average today. And most practices see between a 70 to 100% markup.
Okay. Fair enough. So about $500 for 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
It starts to be pretty accretive pretty quickly in practices. It's an entirely new revenue stream that I think often gets talked about when you're in you're having your facial or you're in for your toxin or whatever that might be. I think we've seen offices be so successful by just saying, did you know there's a little pink pill for women? And that answer is they may have been doing that homework online, but they're not quite sure where to get it. We had a good conversation, I thought, today about, OBGYNs, which you would think this conversation might come up, typically are focused on reproduction and fertility. So this has moved into the longevity space and really that overall wellness.
And quality of life.
Totally. We said, right, what's the point of this longevity pursuit if you live longer but aren't having good orgasms?
There you go. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
can we talk some turkey on the numbers?
Yes, I'd love to.
The CAGR here, so the annual growth rate here is second only to the GLP-1s. Just think about that, sexual wellness. And if you look at the data, consumers are spending 80% more in this category than they did just 2 years ago.
Wait, in your category?
Yes,
okay.
In sexual wellness. So sexual health is, I think, this next frontier. I call it sort of the triangle of de-aging, which is beauty, weight. I mean, we've all been in that revolution right now around GLP-1s. And I think that third piece is sex. And that's really the conversation that I think this audience can
Let me
dominate.
ask you about your business a moment.
Please.
You're the founder.
I am.
And the CEO and chair probably. Do you have a sales staff, or is this
my sales staff are my Addy customers? We have no sales group today, and I'll tell you why. When we came to this, even in the room, I probably had a little bit of blush. Like, this is kind of a new conversation to be having,
right?
And I think that we knew there wasn't necessarily a champion clinical audience, but we knew there was massive consumer demand.
Right.
So we spent kind of all of our dynamite talking directly to the end user on Meta, on Google, and watched where she took the conversation. And she took it
to her plastic surgeon.
She did.
Okay. How did the plastic surgeons learn about this?
They learn about it today mostly through their patients, in all candor. So we're now meeting that demand and building out a group to come talk to y'all. So that is new for us. We've really relied on that woman being the champion of her care here. And so now you'll be seeing and hearing a lot more about the little pink pill in the year ahead.
In as much as it's a pharmacologic and it has to be FDA approved, and it has been, and so forth, it's in a prescription drug. So there is a package insert. There has to be, right?
Of course.
If consumer demand is driving your sales, I get it.
Yes.
And I think it's wonderful, word of mouth.
Sure.
However, you're going to be held accountable for
Totally.
educating the physician prescriber.
Absolutely.
So you will have to have some sort of education there. I know you know that.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
getting
yes.
to something.
Oh, sure, yes.
Are you raising money right now?
I just closed a round. I think
Oh, darn.
I think you're always raising the money when you're a startup
What was
CEO.
this?
So I
Was
should
that
say
a
it was a B. Yeah,
B,
it's a B.
so it's already.
Yeah.
How large was your raise?
It was large enough that you're going to see a lot of marketing dollars from us
Well, you
and
can't
people
share
to
your
come.
pre-money and
No,
post-money raise?
no, we're private. We keep it really, really close to the vest. You know, this
Okay.
is a fascinating story. You know, I built this company and sold it already for $1 billion cash.
You already sold it?
I sold it. The company that bought it didn't launch it, and we got it back, and we're launching it. So they recognize this sort of market opportunity here. So it was returned to the original shareholder group. So we haven't gone out beyond the kind of original founder group. We've been funding it up until now, but I think you'll hear more from us. On that point, though, very important what you said. It is a prescription drug. We want you to be the most educated. We want you to set realistic expectations. This is, the media called us female Viagra. So much more interesting. First of all, we had 3 times as many patients worth of data in our clinical trials, and it works here, on brain flow, not blood flow. But we do have a complete onboarding and educational program. We just have that all inside. So you might not see a rep today walking into your office, but we've got the infrastructure built to get you up to speed
Fantastic.
on medical education.
I love it.
But I think we will start to have those people coming, sales reps coming into your office as well as we grow.
Do you have any plans to facilitate online sales by the physician through their website or through any other
Telehealth is
meds?
Telehealth is well oiled here, so we know this is, the diagnostic for this is a questionnaire, so it really does lend itself. There's no blood work, no monitoring
That's what I
really
was thinking,
for
'cause
it.
they're selling
so you have the
all
ability
these
to do
mailed,
that.
like Viagra
Yeah,
type drugs
sure,
online
sure.
now.
Yeah,
and
a
I was
lot.
thinking, have you pursued that yet?
We have a telehealth channel through Addy.com today.
Okay, that's
Yes.
good to know.
Yeah.
And can a physician put that in their list of meds or so
Yes.
forth that they market through their online store?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
And is it the same economics for the physician,
Yes.
basically? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, and this also has, just like Latisse or Upneek or these products that your audience are familiar with that are direct dispense, obviously there are state rules around that. So in
Sure.
some cases, they're going through a pharmacy for us. And in some cases, they're, buying and holding inventory themselves. And we have choose your own adventure, whichever one works the best for you.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much
Thank you.
for joining me and
Yes.
joining all of us on the Technology
Yeah.
of Beauty. It's been wonderful to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to have you back in our studio
Oh,
in
let's
Manhattan
do
Beach
that.
and interview you even further.
I'm going to tell you the whole story.
Yes,
It's a
I wanna
good story.
know the beginning.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
We've got to get back into the show,
Yes.
AIS. And I want to thank all of you for joining us on this episode, this sexy episode.
That's right.
Why live long if you can't have great orgasms? That's what she said.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.